Hi guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog. And so far today I have done some cleaning and whatnot, and I have done some eating. I'm still reading Seriously by Madeline Miller if you saw my previous vlog. And I finished that vlog on page 90 I believe. Today I have reached page 190. And again, so far I was very much enjoying it. How do I recap? Okay. You see, for the first part of today's video, we see how Cersei and Hermes become lovers, how Cersei meets this man, Dairos, sorry, my dad's watching football, who was sent to retrieve Cersei because her sister is given birth and she needs Cersei's help, and the road her sister chose for her is quite an interesting one because it takes Cersei through, I guess, this trap. Cersei, in order to get to, what was his name, Gaius or something like that, she did something to this other nymph named Skyla, where she turned her into this monster that has like, I think, 12 mouths. And Skyla, she lives in this like cave near a whirlpool, and when ships come, like, in order to avoid the whirlpool, they kind of go towards the cave, and it's like a perfect trap. And that's the wild her sister is showing her the consequences of her actions, because Skyla, she's eaten so many people, and how many more will she eat? Like, even if Cersei like temporarily stopped her, like in 100 years, 1,000. But the reason Cersei's sister really called upon her, even though the sisters had like, I think it was 8 children already, is that this child's different. Is a half bow who is called Minotaur, and yeah, we see how out of touch I guess her sister is, because how much out of her touch Cersei is compared to her sister, because I keep blanking out on the sister's name for some reason. How the relationships between the remaining siblings have changed, how their brothers have changed, and it seems like the sister has always been cool, but this is cool. Like, she had this child out of selfishness. Like, she had to kind of control her husband, and like her ambition really is to go against her husband, to have power over him, and that's really why she had this child, to have this power. Let me see how that continues. So let's see how Cersei is affected. She seems to have a strong connection with mortals, because there's Darius, his son, and her sister's kid, who all die, and Cersei cared about all of them, and it hurts her. Like, when someone she cares about dies, like she's aware of the fact she herself is immortal, not everyone else is, and when he dies, like, I don't know, it takes more away from her, I guess, which is something I do find interesting. And yeah, speaking of, we do see like really how Cersei seems like she never really knew her youngest brother after all. Like, according to his daughter, he became someone who is extremely cruel, and it seems like that might have been always there, but Cersei, she didn't want to accept her brother's cruelty. Like, she's always been someone who's been extremely lonely, and when her youngest brother was born, like, she was essentially his nursemaid, and like, she raised him when their mother did not want to. So yeah, and her niece, her brother's daughter, calls out on the fact Cersei's just this lonely old hag living on this island. Like, yeah, suffer of loneliness. And what else can I say about this? Yeah, that she just seems to prefer the company of mortals over her own kind, because for her, most mortals, they seem grateful for her, like they worship her, until she meets these mortals who do not worship any gods. It seems like they attack her when they learn that there is no man in this house. Like it's like, I guess, the idea that a woman living on her own. No, she must have a man around, otherwise she must be killed. Like they do try to kill her, and she manages to kill all of them. And that one, and like they they come, they see like her pigs, they think, oh, she's gonna kill one, she's gonna give them to us. And the last line of chapter 14 is, as it turned out, I did kill pigs that night after all. Like these men, they're like not even human to her, like they're just downright animals. So yeah, I guess like seeing how Cersei is handling her own loneliness, how she tries to forget about it. Like when her niece calls out the fact that Cersei's lonely, like Cersei does everything to kind of forget about the loneliness, and she might have the odd company, Hermes or other nymphs who are being sent because their fathers want to punish them, teach them a lesson. Like Cersei also calls out that it's always the daughters being punished, never the sons. But you know, like age-old sexism. So yeah. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see really how, I guess, seeing more of this loneliness Cersei experiences, because she did just lose what was essentially her familiar, this line that was with her for like, I think 100 years or so, and finally died. And yeah, that did break her heart, and might have changed some things. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, that's really reading this, and like what I'm really liking about this novel the most is like descriptions of, and the what is it? I guess the conversations being held between Cersei and her sister, Cersei and her brother's daughter. Like her brother's daughter is like they seem like to be power hungry women in a sense, and they know that they only will get powers if they will deal with a man who probably is not the best choice, like, because Manos, who is her sister's husband, tries to control her, and her niece tries to act like a maiden in distress, like a princess locked in her tower, essentially, to lull her husband. Like, they either change the way they are to make their husbands happy, or they're just so vicious in their actions. Like, they have their own agenda, they won't act upon it, and they don't care. So it is seeing it, and Cersei's like against it. It's like, why would you want to act this way for a man? Like she offers her niece like the opportunity to stay on an island, and this is like calls out the BS or apparent bullshit that Cersei just wants this company. Like Cersei doesn't want to be lonely. So yeah, so far I'm enjoying the writing of this novel, and yeah, and I think for the rest of the day it's just some more cleaning and whatnot. It's like I guess a reset. Because yeah, and I did. Today's probably gonna be one of the nice days, and I already went out, but I might go out again. Well, we'll see. But yeah. So it's the next day, and I've just done some work and whatnot. I also did go on a walk yesterday, and I did go on another walk today. So and my cardio and yay. But I have done some more reading of Cersei, and now I'm on page 264. And again, I feel like I sound like a broken record whenever I start my updates with, oh, I'm liking it, but honestly, I just try to read books that I think I like. Like, I don't want to go into a book thinking I'm not gonna like it. Like, But anyway, we see how Cersei, like, when she see how Cersei, like, if a ship comes to her island and there's a group of them, like, she will feed them, she'll do the whole hosting business BS until they start, like, getting angsty. They see that, oh, she's a woman, she lives alone. Like, they will get handsy, they will try to harm her and maybe try and rob her, but she first turns them into literal pigs and keeps them around. Like, some of them will try and escape and whatnot, but yeah, they are stuck in pig form. And when they, like, she does this to a bunch of the crew, and she turns them into pigs until their leader shows up, and it's like so kind of like, I guess, different to his crew. He's like, yeah, I should have trained them better. They were just so young. I should have fought better. Like, yeah, we see how this man is Odysseus, and he's on his journey back from Troy. And we see how he tells Cersei stories about Troy, about his wife Penelope, about his son. And we see how Cersei and Odysseus, they get closer, and he ends up in her bed. Like, they kind of form a relationship, but not really. Yeah, and he and his crew, they stay on her island throughout the seasons until their ships repaired, until the weather gets well enough for them to sail and whatnot. Like, Cersei, like, it seems like she's fallen in love with Odysseus. Like, she wants to keep him around. And eventually she learns of this prophecy, and he sees what he has to do. He learns his fate, and he just embarks on it, really. And we also see how Cersei has always been careful whenever she sleeps with anyone, really, I guess. Like with her relationship with Hermes, her relationship with Odysseus. Not sure about Deus, I think that was his name, but I mean, that could have been like. But she's always careful. She takes this potion like every month except once. And that potion, I guess, like, you can say it's like a form of birth control. It can prevent her from getting pregnant. And we see how she ends up with the son, and the son, oh my god, I don't even know if Odysseus, if he knew about his son, if he had been able to stay around. I don't know if he could have handled this kid, because oh my god, this kid is full of rage, always screaming about anything. Like, he won't sleep, and when he does, he screams. And as he gets older, he starts breaking things. Like, I know young children, infants, toddlers, they can be a handful, but this kid, the way that Madeline Miller is describing him, it seems like he's on a whole other level of, like, just torture. Like, this is worse than usual, or more extravagant, yeah, than usual. But yeah, and Cersei also sees that Athena, the goddess Athena, for some reason is out to kill this boy, like kill her son. And Athena, apparently she knows something, and she's afraid about it, and it has something to do with this boy's fate. And this boy, he seems very smart, very curious about things. And Cersei just really was not really telling him stories about his father until she finally did when he was like, I think 13. So yeah, that's the part of now. And I am right now just very much intrigued to see what this fate was that Athena, who is like a very powerful god, is so afraid of him, wants to destroy him. I think that's the thing that I'm most curious about now. So, yeah, I'm just liking seeing how Cersei, she kind of allowed herself to be almost vulnerable with with Odysseus. Like, she's been alone for so long, and it doesn't seem like this is another point who keeps someone around. Like, it seems like she generally loved him, and then she sees something of herself in him, and she worries about him. It's almost like a genuine care she has about him that I don't know if she's felt before. So yeah, like, she seems very protective of Odysseus, even though he seems very capable, and he made her feel like she can pretend that she doesn't have any scars, she doesn't have any history, she's never been harmed, like, she's Miss Flawless, like, she sees his very visible scars, and it's like, I guess I'm just glad that she has none. So yeah, very much enjoying that, and I'm very much curious to see more. So yeah. So it's the next day, and I've just done some work and whatnot, and I have done some more reading of Cersei, and now I'm on page 342, and I'm still much enjoying it. We see how Cersei's son, Talgonus, I feel like I butchered that, and I'm sorry, but how he now seems determined to go to Ithaca to reunite with Odysseus and meet Odysseus' father, like, kind of be acknowledged by his father, like, Telegonus, like, he doesn't want to fight his half brother for the throne or anything. He just wants a chance to get to know his father, because he's heard so many stories about him from Cersei, like the stories, the good side of his father. And Cersei, she is against that because of the whole Athena thing, and her son is determined mainly because apparently Hermes has been speaking to him, which Cersei, you can imagine, is very much unhappy about that. And Cersei, she does bring into awareness that her son, in a way, he lives in a world where he is naive, really, but about everything that about the way that life is off the island, like, the way she's brought up her son, that he only knows peace, he only knows about good stuff, he doesn't know about the ugliness of mortals, and besides the fact she is afraid of what Athena will do to him once he's off the island. She's also, like, aware of the fact that he is this naive, he doesn't know much. So yeah, but she has no choice because her son is so determined to meet his father, to meet Odysseus, which we see doesn't go well, considering he returns with both Penelope and her son, Telemachus, back on his boat. And turns out that when Telegonus, when he showed up to the palace, Telemachus was like, yeah, you can raid in our harbor, and Odysseus sees him, thinks that Telegonus is like a pirate, someone who's trying to steal everything from him and whatnot, and the two kind of fight it out, but let me backtrack first. And yeah, let me backtrack for a second. Before her son left, Cersei was able to get this it's like a spear made that would protect him, and it's like a spear where there's like a poison on it, and Odysseus, he cuts his cheek on it and he dies. And because of the way that Telemachus behaved, like, he saw what happened, he didn't kill Telegonus when he could have, he didn't mourn his father properly, and his mother forced to flee. And Cersei, she sees, like, how Odysseus was after he left, how he became more greedy, how he killed all of Penelope's suitors, all of their slaves. Like, he had a lot of people killed because he was convinced that there was this conspiracy to kill him. And we see that Cersei, anyway, she knew that who he was, the kind of man
was, and yet she let herself have this illusion almost that he's a good man. Like, Odysseus was really a man who was greedy. Like, he got his crew killed and stranded. A lot of people really killed because he wanted treasure. He wanted to take things that didn't belong to him. Gold, treasures really. And Circe says on page 307, when he had lived with me, I'd soothed all those things away, wrapping him in my magic and divinity. Perhaps it was why he had been so happy and ideal. I had called our time illusion. Might have been a better word. Like, Odysseus, he was such a bitter man who just wanted to take and take and take and was never satisfied enough. Like, he was always like planning war strategy and whatnot. Like, he was never a man who could sit still and do nothing. He had to do, and it eventually did lead him to turn against, well, everyone, and kind of become this bitter man who resented his son because he saw his son as a coward when he was in strong-willed or anything, when really his son is able to do stuff. But I don't know, Odysseus just refused to see his son for who he really is, and was so caught up in his own self, in his own world, that he couldn't see what was right in front of him. He couldn't believe anyone else's word. So yeah, I guess Circe being, I guess, having a blindfold taken off and seeing that the man she thought was a good man is actually a man full of greed and selfishness. So yeah, I enjoy that. And she's not a perfect parent in herself, but like, she, maybe deep down she knew that he wasn't a good man, but she wanted to believe he was. She wanted her son to believe he was. And I'm only bringing this up because I keep thinking of this quote on page 276, where it's like, I had kept the face of the world veiled from him. I had painted his history in bright, bold colors, and he had fallen in love with my art. Like, Trigonus, like, he only knew his mother's stories. He only believed in the good and the brightness. Like, he didn't know about the darkness, about his mother's history, about his father's history, about anything. Like, he does all good, and that's all he really believed in. And I guess deep down she feels guilty about the fact she, I guess, didn't let her son know anything of the reality of how things really were. So yeah, so far, again, intrigued to see, like, the fact that Penelope, she had every right to want to kill someone who was essentially her father's mistress. And yet, when Penelope and Telemachus, they had to leave Ithaca instead of going to Sparta, where Penelope is from. Penelope, for some reason, didn't want to go there, but she wanted to go to Circe's island, which is, like, a bit questionable, but seems like she didn't want, like, revenge to kill Telegonus and to kill Circe. Like, I guess she just wanted answers and really stories, so yeah. And yeah, I'm almost done with this, and again, I'm just, I guess, intrigued to see how this all wraps up. I guess, again, I don't really know Circe's story, and I know this is like a retelling of her story, but it is based off a classic piece of work, so yeah. But yeah, I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna take it a bit easy. I'm just not feeling so well right now. So yeah, I'll see you. So it's the next day, and already I've just done some work and some cleaning and whatnot, and I have finished Circe by Madeline Miller, and I very much enjoyed this. Like, I'm gonna give this a 4-star. We do see how Athena, she did come after all. She had Hermes deliver a message to really demand that Circe lowers her spell and allow her to come. And it's not that Athena wanted to I guess, attack, kill Telegonus. She wanted to talk to Telemochus. And she offers him kind of this opportunity to go over this island in Italy and whatnot. And she is disappointed when she learns that Telemochus, he has no desire to be this ruler. Like, there was a quote in here that was interesting, I guess, because it's like a thing. He's like, his calmness seemed to enrage her. There will be no songs made of you, no stories. Do you understand? You will live a life of obscurity. You will be without a name in history. You will be no one. And then it's like, the fame she had described was what all mortals yearn for. It is their only hope for immortality. There we are. And it's like, she's like, you'll be nothing, you'll be a no one. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And that second part, that's the part I underlined, because it's like, we are remembered because of books we've written and stories told about us, songs sung about us. Like, these gods, these figures, they're only remembered because of stories being told. And Telemochus is here being like, I don't want any of that, I have no desire, I just want to live a mundane existence, and that's really it. And I think that she's like, fine. And then she makes the same offer to Telegonus, who's very like, he very urgent to do more, to be more. Like, Cersei, she spent really her entire time being a mother, protecting him and wanting to keep him safe, keeping him close, and as well as a mother, she, I guess, is scared of letting her, I guess, like, she's afraid of allowing him to leave the nest, because it's like, she can keep him safe, and when he's out ruling the kingdom, she will lose the ability to keep him safe. But she also knows, she can see how much he desires this, so she allows it. So yeah, that happens. And then Cersei, she has her father like lower her exile, and she goes back to the island that she grew up on, really just to collect some herbs. But really on her journey there, she deals with Skyla, I believe that was the name, and she turns Skyla into stone, stopping her from causing more harm to more people. And really we see how Cersei and Telemochus, like, I don't know, they develop a sort of they develop a relationship, which, I don't know, it seemed out of the blue. Like, I think because he's technically her stepson, I guess, or the brother of her son. It felt a bit weird for me. Like, I just didn't really love that personally, but yeah. But yeah, we see their relationship, which we don't really see much of, like this, like their dynamic as partners in this way. And we see how, and she casts this spell, makes a potion or whatever it is, that allows her to be immortal, to take away all of her divinity, which she didn't really love in the first place. Like, she didn't care, and she can see her future where she lives a very much mundane life with Telemochus. Like, they have a couple daughters, they travel, they make a business out of her witchcraft and his carpentry skills. Like, and Penelope's the new witch of Allah. So yeah. So yeah, overall, I just enjoyed this novel. How Cersei, it seemed like, finally found her path, finally found the people she can be with. Like, she finally found a family where she feels accepted and where she can be herself. So yeah, overall I did enjoy this, and I think for the rest of the day I do have some plans. Maybe we will see if I actually leave my house this week. But if I do, and I'm just gonna go to the older part of my town, I might go to the older part of my town or just to walk, or maybe I'll just walk in my neighborhood. We will see. But if I do any more reading today, it will be This Is How You Lose the Time More by El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. I believe it's about these two lovers who are they're on enemy sides of this whole time war, and they're writing to each other, leaving each other letters in like trees, literally carving their letters into trees, and throughout time. And yeah, I'm very much intrigued about this one. So yeah, and I'll see you when I see you. So it's literally the same day, and as you saw, I did go out today. That's when I went to my errands and all that. For some reason, I'm feeling tired, even though I didn't do a lot. Like, make that make sense. Come on. But anyway, I have done some reading, and I'm on page 24 of This Is How You Lose the Time More. And so far, I think I'm liking it. I did do some reading when I was feeling a bit tired, so that might have interfered with my reading experience, considering I wasn't like fully immersed in the story when like usually that's quite easy, but yeah, so far enjoying this. We start with seeing Howard after a battle, like she's kind of clearing up. She's part of this agency that seems like they have their own agenda. They want to spread it, and she comes across this letter, and it's like, burn this letter up before you read it, and she does that, and we see the letter. And we also see the state of the planet at the time, how everything seems to be dying, even the planet. And I mean, this book definitely goes through different time periods, because we are in the future, and with Blue's perspective, when we first meet them, we see that they're in this like 21st century hospital. Wad's done something to their plan, and leave a letter as well, and then we see Wad back in like the very past before. I guess what we know as humans, they try and set up this plan and will kind of have an effect on humans in the future. So really we need to see them initially sabotaging one another's plans. Like, we don't really see them interact. Like, I think they've seen each other like across the room, or across like somewhere very far, but they've never really properly met from what I've gotten. And I mean, they seem to really be communicating through their letters, and so far with through the letters, I like I guess banter, the lightheartedness of them, almost in this time where it's like, I guess a quite serious time with like there's war happening, which I try and having its own agenda, and yeah, so far very much intrigued. So yeah, that is my initial thoughts of This Is How You Lose the Time More. Hopefully tomorrow I do this when I'm more awake. So yeah. So it's the next day, and as you saw, I did go out. I had to run some errands and whatnot, but yeah, I just went to the town next to mine, and I walked in the park. Like, I've walked 1,000 times, but still very beautiful. Now that it's finally starting to look like fall, like the leaves are finally starting to change colors. So yeah. But anyway, since I've gone home, I have done some reading of This Is How You Lose the Time More. Now I'm on page 92. And I'm very much enjoying this. Like, I want to say the main reason is that the way that Red and Blue write to each other is very, in a way, romantic. Like, they open up to one another. They allow themselves to be almost vulnerable with one another, that they aren't really allowed to be like, wow, in this war. So yeah, and it seems like as well that neither of them are exactly human, because Wed says that with her kind they don't have to eat, but yet she chooses to eat because of the sensation behind eating. Like it's like she eats normal stuff like pancakes with jam and whatnot, and then she'll also eat the glass, and it's really about the sensation, which is interesting. And we also see like Blue, how she transforms into this wolf like with 4 rows of teeth, 6 legs. Like neither are exactly human. So that's interesting. But what I do find interesting, besides the relationship, is how they will set off kind of like a domino effect, essentially, I would say. Like one action leads to another, and it always like it leads to the ultimate action that their agency or their side wants to achieve. And I don't know, I just always find that interesting. Like it's like they are setting off a motion of history that will have an impact on history and on how the future will unfold. So I just find that interesting. As well as the fact like they do worry about like what their superiors will say when it learns that they're writing to one another, because it will look like, I mean, they're canoodling, I guess, with the enemy. Like they're not really doing anything to get dirt on the other. Like there would be a lot of questions asked, a lot of consequences that would occur because of that. And it's like, I guess for both of them it is worth the risk, because I think it was Red who was like, you can go on and like leave one of my letters somewhere where someone from my agency will see it. Like you can do that. Like they know the power they have over the other person. I guess how much is at stake with the fact they are writing to one another, but we do see besides these letters to care for one another, because the reason Blue turned into a wolf was to protect Red, despite the consequences Blue could face for doing what she does. For doing what she did, I mean. So, yeah, I'm just very much enjoying it, and it's like a lot of these quotes are very beautiful, because it's like, it makes them like, that they feel alive, that they belong to someone, because I guess they've just been taught like they belong to no one, no one belongs to them, so. Yeah, but I do have to say, I have to, I can't stop thinking about this quote on page 82. It's like, I like writing you, I like reading you. When I finish your letters, I spend frantic hours in secret, composing my replies, pondering ways to send them. I can trigger any combination of chemical ups and downs with a carefully worded phrase. A factory within me will mount any drug I seek, but there's a wash in reading and sending against which no drug compares. It's like they do hold immense power, and they are able to do what they want to achieve by just being careful and doing like things exactly as they plan. But yet, there's almost a high with writing to one another and getting away with it that they find, and as well, like finding someone that they, I guess, can relate to, that they feel like, oh yeah, this is someone who belongs to me, or I am this person's person, I guess. Like, I think there was another quote I really liked, not far before. I wouldn't say it was 72, I didn't really mark it, but it's like, when Blue communicates with Red, she feels this power, this hunger, this desire, and she feels more like herself, and I don't know, there's something that's very beautiful about all of this, and it's very interesting. So yeah, I am enjoying seeing the way they communicate with one another as well. This popped into my mind this now, but Wed feels almost insecure when she's writing to Blue, in a sense, like she worries that what if I said too much, what if I'm not so like smart sounding, I guess, as as blue. Like, she worries what blue will think about red, and I guess blue also thinks of what red will think of her and her letter. So there's that, like, I guess, self-doubt of what other person feels, and it's like, so that's also interesting. I also find it funny some of the ways they're trying to communicate with one another with what I think it was literally somehow putting her letter in tea leaves for blue to drink. Like, again, it's like an action that's setting off emotion, a series of actions that all lead to one thing. Like, I just find that fascinating. So yeah, overall I'm very much enjoying this novel, even though it did go over my head at the beginning, but yeah. And I think for the rest of the day, and I'll just be taking it easy. I just don't feel very well again. And yep. So yeah, I'll see you. So it's a couple of days later. I didn't vlog yesterday, so it was just quite a long day, and I was pretty tired by the time I got home. But yesterday I just went some errands. I did the majority of my grocery shopping and whatnot, and I did go for a walk in kind of like a shoreline town that was supposed to hold an event, but it wasn't. I don't know. I just wasn't really in the mood to film anything, and I try not to film anyone. But yeah. And yesterday I did do quite a bit of reading, and I did finish This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I really much enjoyed this. Like, I felt for the characters, I felt for the relationship. I did give this 5 stars just because the entire, like, I guess 100 so pages just broke my heart, and I did take notes on it too for this, but let's see, what is suspicious? What is worried that the commitment is suspicious of her and the letters she's writing blue? And we also learn, I guess, the difference of how red and blue were made, because with red it seems like it was like she was made like a system, like a machine almost. Like, she was given what she had to, what she needed to survive, and what she didn't need. She didn't need the ability to eat. So, but with blue, it's almost like blue was like grown from like a plant. Like, she was potted in soil and then was grown. And I don't know. I just found that interesting. And we also see, like, there's like a seeker or someone who's like following like red, and they're reading the remains of letters from blue, or the way they're being delivered. Like, let's say a bee delivered a letter, the bee's eaten by the spider, and seeker eats the spider, like that kind of stuff, I guess. And yeah, and we also do learn that the commitment is worried that blue is trying to kind of force A to double cross the agency, like turn red into a double agent, manipulate red into joining blue's side of the whole thing, and they want to take her out of the picture. They want stuff in. Yeah, they want red to send a letter that will be poison. That didn't really make sense, just because the agency wanted red to send a letter that would be like laced with poison within the words. I guess something called stenography. Yeah. And I did find that interesting, the power of saying by words. That is an interesting concept. But we then see that Blue is eating this plant that you know is poison. So I don't know if it's like Blue decided she didn't want to be without Red and killed herself, or if the letter was in the plant. Like, I don't know, that just didn't seem clear to me. Blue eats anyway because Red, in order to protect her, is cuts off contact. It's like, we shouldn't write to each other anymore. We should just stop. Like, don't read my last letter at all. Like, Red is almost breaking up with her to protect Blue, and it does hurt Red, but she doesn't really know anything else to do. And Blue like does die, and it's like, it's not like a painless death. Apparently, Garden Blue side would never allow that. And yeah, and again, the only other question is, Red meets the Seeker, but they seem that they're neither from Garden or agency. They're from this like third party, which is weird. I don't know. And yeah, Red, she goes into the past to Garden to try and save a younger Blue. She's successful. Like, Red is trying to rewrite their history, rewrite the past to save Blue, and I like that a lot. Like, Red is captured. She is asked questions. Really, she's not really like interrogated, like tortured. They just ask her, why did you do it? When did you do it? Why? What? Like, those kind of questions, and they all know the who. So it's those questions, and apparently Red's not been answering them, and she is sentenced to being like ripped apart for bits. And yeah, we see how Blue somehow is able to get Red to escape. Like, she sneaks in and hands over like, what was it? It's not really much as specified, but the last page is like, I've bought you 5 minutes to bust out instructions on overleaf. For I doubt you'll need them. Like, it's, I don't know, Blue was somehow able to get Red a few minutes to escape. So, and I do want to mention, I did like the last 3 lines. But maybe this is how we win, Red. You and me. This is how we win. And for this entire novel, it's never been about winning this time, or that their respective agencies have been at with one another. It's always been about winning the chance to be together, literally. Like, I don't think they've ever been together physically. Like, they've probably been in the same room. They've definitely been in the same room. It's like they've been across a field. Like, they've never been close. And for them, it's never been about winning. It's this ridiculous war that they don't. That's probably much bigger than them. It's this about the chance of being together. So yeah, I very much enjoyed it, and the feelings it gave me while I was reading it. Like, I was very like, I don't know, I just loved it. So yeah, I gave that 5 stars. And I finished it this morning, and today I've also gone to just finish up my grocery shopping, and I did go to this like a tag sale event. It's like, it was hosted, I think, somewhere near the town hall of the town next to mine, and it was like, you could buy a booth in the shop there. So yeah, but all I bought was this beautiful like candle holder that I'm planning to put in my bedroom, and like on top of my books, because I just really loved it, and I think I got it for about $3. And I did go to Trader Joe's, and I did go to other stores. As you saw, I did go into Marshall's just to browse a bit, to look for a clock really, but I couldn't find anything that I really wanted. But yeah, I didn't buy anything from Marshall's. I did. Okay, the Marshalls I went to was in my town, but in the town next to mine there's a TJ Maxx, which I did go to initially, and I did just buy this a green t-shirt, so nothing special. And since getting home my work, I have done some reading, and I did start Where the Dark Stand Still by A.B. Pornak. And this is just a dust check at the physical books next to me. But it's like about this girl named Niska who she has magic, and the villagers of her village, they're afraid of her because of her magic, in which she has kept hidden until one of them kind of exposed her, made the villagers more wary of her. And Niska, she goes into these woods that are supposed to be haunted, the villagers are afraid of, to seek this fern flower that blooms like I think once in a while. I don't remember exactly what it was. And she wants to make a wish. She wants to wish her powers away, to wish her magic away. And when she goes into the forest, she kind of gets lost until she is found by this demon named Leslie, and he makes a bargain with her that's like 1 year of servitude, in exchange for the fern flower's wish. And with the way to his Wemblin manor, she soon makes a unsettling discovery. She is not the first person to strike this bargain, and all her predecessors have mysteriously vanished. If she wants to survive the year and return home, she must unravel her whole spill of secrets and face the ghosts, figuratively and literal, of his past. Because something awakes in the woods, something deadly and without mercy, something that frightens even the Leslie, and it cannot be defeated unless Laska embraces the monster she's always feared becoming. So, yeah. So far, I'm on page 20. So I've not gotten far yet. Like, the first part of her going to the forest, being afraid of herself because of her magic, and like the villagers being afraid of her. Like, I have already gotten to that part. She's also encountered a Uzlaka. Let me just. I did write it down so I wouldn't have to. Uzlaka, who shifts into different beings, like this woman or her mother, to kind of trick Laska, there we are, into staying with her. And when she attempts to do that, she is attacked, and then this stag saves her. And she's seen the stag before, like it did lead her off the path, and it turns out this stag was the demon that everyone in the village is afraid of, called Leslie. So yeah, so far I'm kind of enjoying that atmosphere. To be honest, I'm not really in the writing yet, but I think that's also because I did finish a book this morning. So yeah, so far very much intrigued. And I think that will be it for this video. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel. And if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video.